Good morning. It's Monday the 16th of March. I'm in a better mood than I was on Saturday, despite all the goings on. I think it's the fact that we've got a little bit more information now makes me feel better personally. But it doesn't stop the fact that there's loads of shit stuff going on at the moment. So yeah, it's Monday. No update yesterday, but I'm not going to be able to give updates every day. I've just got a life to live. Sunday was a fairly scary time because my dad has been working in London. They live in Spain, both my parents, and obviously there's problems there. They both live in Spain. My mum's currently in Spain, looking after the dogs at the house, and my dad had a flight back booked, which we only booked on Friday or Thursday. He was working in Pinewood near London, and that was all cancelled, so he got himself on a plane and he's safely back now. But I mean, the plane took off about 3 or 4 hours late, and obviously we didn't have any contact with him during that time because he's managed to lock himself out of his phone. God knows what the staff at the airport were like, having to deal with him alone, let alone other people over the age of 70. He can be a nightmare. I think what people are forgetting is how stubborn some people are, and how people don't quite understand what's going on and they won't cooperate so much. Maybe younger people are a bit more easier to steer around, but yeah, I don't know. I'm sure he's fine. But he got home in the end. He is at home. I wasn't sure whether there would be any form of... This is one thing actually, I didn't know what they're on about when they're talking about quarantine. They're talking about quarantine when they get back after flying home. Now, I'd imagined people going and camping out in an army base or like a little cell and playing table tennis for 2 weeks. But by the sounds of things, it's not true. It's more about a self-isolation. And I don't know how you enforce that. I mean, they live in the countryside, so they're more or less isolated where they are anyway, so that's good. They're better off, I think, where they are currently, because I feel like in rural southern Spain, they're probably going to be better off there than in a city in the UK. I got this feeling that we're going to get hit a lot harder than bigger countries with more countryside and more space, because we haven't got the most space. Or we've got plenty of space, but there's lots of people. So that little spook is out of the way. There was comments about opinions about like the fact that I was at the parkrun yesterday, and that was kind of the point. But like, as I said, like, I did feel a little bit guilty about being out there, but that's what's going on at the moment. Like, there's no. It's very strange to think that the leadership in this country at the moment is a bit... The vagueness doesn't help. I don't see this country really being able to cope with enforcing certain rules like they've done in Italy. Like, I don't know whether it's because we haven't got enough police, or we haven't got enough staff, or whatever, or just general attitudes towards people. We forget it's like more of a capitalist, liberal country here. People think they know best. I don't know. Anyway, I want to move on to something else now. I've got this written down. I'm currently walking around my local park run, which is just a stone's throw from my house. Very lucky to have this little park near me, Cossington Park. I'm also about to go to work today. It's still the morning, so not heard much so far. I did check my emails a minute ago. Nothing, no emails, which is very unusual for a Monday morning. So when I get to work, we'll probably have a meeting to decide what's going on. That probably won't amount to much because it's still a play-by-play kind of affair. Yeah, very, very strange. I'll give you an update when I get back from work, I guess, and then we'll get this out there, because there's no point in this being late. Okay, I'll leave you with some sort of nicer news, really. The FRA, the Fell Runners Association, came out with a statement saying all fell races should go ahead, but they should take precautions, all the kinds of precautions you can. There was a race yesterday, the Haworth Hobble, and it went ahead, and people, sort of, one of my friends ran it, and she was saying her intentions with the race was to minimise the time spent indoors, i.e. at checkpoints or at registration. So she basically went in at the last minute, grabbed a number, came back out. Apparently that's quite common across the board. We're a bit luckier with the better weather at the moment, but I think say if it was snowing or it was minus 0 and there was a race on, there's no way that could happen, because earlier on in the year, you'd be getting hypothermia if you didn't go inside after a race or before. So as long as people can stand outside, things should be okay, and as long as also the numbers are a bit lower. And I'm talking about small races in the countryside, if you don't know what I mean. I'm not talking about big city races, I'm talking about small little countryside races. But it's always up to the event organisers now, until something is put in place officially. On the flip side, a friend of mine, Tom, has started a little running group called Lurgy, which is Leeds Underground Running Group. Yay. And what he's doing is he's setting challenges that can be tackled solo. So for instance, he'll create a route, put it up on a website, and people can do the route on their own, in their own time, so it's not causing any strain on anyone. People can go do the route on their own, and then they post their times, they post a Strava map, and he puts it all on a table, which is a great idea considering what we're facing here. So I'll probably give that a go tomorrow or the next day in the morning, so look out for that. Okay, I'm going to go to work now. Just one last thing, just done a lap of this park, not that. So one of the reasons I think why the government is not closing things down, and this is a big one, or it's a thinker. Basically, if the government doesn't tell businesses to close, they're not responsible for compensating them. So say if you own a pub and you close off your own back, you then void all of your hang on, I'm not saying this right. If you're a pub, for instance, and you close off your own back for your own concerns over your own safety, you're then invalid to claim compensation back from the government, or as far as I believe. It's working the same way with the it's working kind of the same way with the bands who are playing our club. Like if they pull out, they don't get paid. If we pull out as a venue, we are still liable to pay them. So depending on each situation, you put that on a national level, it's no wonder why government, like the Conservative government, is holding off for as long as possible until some of those businesses decide to close off their own back, because then they don't have to pay them. Now, I don't know if that's obviously a loaded statement, but that is also some information I'm passing on, so it's probably not true, or it could be true, I don't know, but I'm just mentioning it. Anyway, that'll do.